Cops are just like have surrounded the house, so they're tackling kids, grabbing kids. Me and my buddy Jake, we're like, fuck this, we're just sprinting as hard as we can. It was a dead weekend for our senior class, just no house parties going on. Me and my buddy Beef were friends with a couple of the kids in the junior class. We get word of this party open to everyone. His parents out of town come through. So me, Beef, my buddy, and his little brother, who was a junior, drive over to this house. We park about a block up the street because there's quite a bit of cars there. You could tell a party was going on. And as we walk up to the house, it did look like a movie scene because it was one of those houses with like all glass windows, big open space, and you could see the whole party taking place right from the road. We didn't think anything of it. We walk up, there's a sticky note on the door that says, "Come on in." So we come in with our drinks and we're chilling. Now, I drove, so I didn't drink at all. But me and my buddy, we'll call him Jake, we were up in the kitchen because, again, the kids' parents are gone, so it's one of those parties where yeah, there's a lot going on in the basement, but it was kind of crowded, so we were chilling upstairs with probably like 10, 15 kids in the kitchen. At one point, Dooley and Beef go out to get more drinks. Jake and I are hanging out in the kitchen with this kid who was a stud, probably our best player on the basketball team at the time, and they were getting close to region, state, like their postseason tournament stuff. All of a sudden, a cop walks right in the house. And we're like, fuck. Like, everyone just kind of freezes. Cop looks at us and goes, "Don't move." And then walks downstairs. So obviously everybody takes off out the back door. So we grabbed our basketball player because he was feeling pretty good that night, I think. But we grabbed him because we're like, bro, we got to get you out of here. Once we get out into the backyard, you see all these kids scatter. Well, it's one of those backyards that's like the perimeter is surrounded by those pine trees that they bring in. So it's like a privacy fence to have these pine trees around the backyard. We loop around, take off out into the front yard through the gate, and there's 4 or 5 cop cars. And then you see these cops are just like have surrounded the house. So they're tackling kids, grabbing kids. Well, me and my buddy Jake, we're like, fuck this. We're just sprinting as hard as we can, run out to my car. Jake's brother makes it up to the car with us. We hop in. We're sitting there waiting. We're like, fuck, dude, like, where's Beef? Long story short, we didn't know this till after the fact. Beef and Dooley, when they went out to get more drinks, the cops had just pulled up. So the cops stop him. Beef said he threw his drink to the side. Dooley didn't have a drink on him. Well, they go to ID him. Dooley, I don't know if he was drunk or just not paying attention or if it was dark, he accidentally hands the cop his fake ID. Now, I believe it's scanned, and luckily he knew all the information on it. Somehow, Dooley talked his way out of accidentally handing the cop his fake ID. While Beef and Dooley were getting interrogated in the driveway, we ran out the other side of the backyard, and we're watching kids get tackled by the cops and stuff. So Beef texts me, he's like, dude, I'm still at the house, like they caught me. And we're like, fuck, man, how long do you think it's been? He's like, I have no idea. So me and the other 2 guys that I'm with, we drive back to their parents' house because it was close, and we're just hanging out kind of waiting to hear from Beef. Beef tells us that while inside, they split kids up, sober and drinking. There was kids getting underage drinking charges that night. Like, it was a pretty fucked night. But luckily for Beef, he somehow, I don't know how, but he talked his way out of it. He told the cops that either he had to go get his car because he was going to drive kids, or he said his mom was here to pick him up. Like, he said something to talk his way out of it, and he texted us like, hey, yo, I'm on my way out. So we, whipped back over there and grabbed Beef and got out. But, man, talk about a crazy night. And I'm telling you, like, the adrenaline rush of, like, when we rounded the corner of just seeing the cops like grabbing kids and chasing kids, we were like, holy shit, and then we just took off running. But it was fun. And Beef said it was one of those things, as soon as they came around the corner, they Beef said he's always been pretty good at identifying vehicles by headlights, and he was like, those are Challenger headlights, the cops are fucking here, and threw his beer. So everything worked out perfectly for our friends. And I'm not going to speak on anybody else, because I think some kids, they get in some shit that night. But the reason the cops were able just to walk in is because there's a sticky note on the door. So I guess the kid tried to be a smartass when they kind of shut the party down. The kid was like, well, who gave you permission to enter my property? And the cop was like, bro, you had a sticky note on your door that said come in. So don't put a sticky note on your door that says come inside if you don't want the cops to just stroll it on your house party. But that was one of the funniest nights. And I think what was so entertaining about it is we thought it was going to be like a dead weekend, no fun. And we ended up having, that whole situation go down. But we got out of there. We got our basketball player out of there. And it was a hilarious moment, great time, and talks with Tom.
I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away, up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more. See no more.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.